The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. On this edition of the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise, I'll introduce you to some interesting people from hometown businesses with interesting stories to tell. Like Rachael Burbules from Bathfitter, who will share how her team can transform your tub and shower in just one day. Then Jonathan McDonell returns to share his alternative therapies. If you suffer from chronic pain, BAM Acupuncture can offer relief. And Chazz asks, what's in your attic? Whether it's a rare antique or a piece of pop culture, one man's trash is another man's treasure. All on this edition of the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise. Stay with us. Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's holding station, the Big WECK. Joining us on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise today is Rachael Burbules, who's the marketing director from Bathfitter. Hi, Rachael.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
It's good. You know, we talk about Bathfitter. I know we're going to talk about showers too. Are baths a thing of the past? Are bathtubs?
I think it's whatever the customer needs. You know, I personally use my bathtub every day. I have a 2-year-old, but if you're looking for that walk-in shower, we offer full 88 accessible walk-in showers too, still completed in a day and has a lifetime warranty.
You know, I often think about that. I mean, you know, you go into whether it be a home or a condo, an apartment, and, you know, there may still be a bathtub in there. And I understand it, but I probably haven't taken a bath since I was a kid, but I guess as you get older, it could be kind of a tripping hazard or something like that too, right?
Yes, so what we're going to be able to do is come out and measure the space that you have, where that tub is. We're able to take that tub out, and the customer is going to be in charge of how high they want that instep to be. If you want it as low as flush to floor, so you can roll a wheelchair in there, or maybe you want a little bit of lip on there. We have a number of different options that the customer gets to choose, and then accessibility features. Do you want a chair in there? Do you want grab bars? Would you like a shower handheld to make it a little bit easier? So there's a number of different options to make that bathroom safer, slip resistant floor grid on the bottom, whatever the customer's looking for.
Well, I must be the odd duck because when I think about a shower, I want to be in and out as fast as I can. That's, you know, that's my idea. You know, but that doesn't necessarily work that way. So what do you think is the big thing right now? When I used to go into like some of the older homes or apartments or things like that, you walk into the bathroom and it's that pink, green, or baby blue tile. You're like, ugh, I guess this doesn't really go anymore. So when you come in and do a shower for them, describe it to us. What's it like?
Yes, so when we get to the customer's home, we're going to measure that entire bathroom. So if they have that like halfway up tile that's pink or blue, we're able to actually even utilize wainscoting and cover that up to brighten it up with a white wainscoting. We have 4 colors: white, white marble, pearl, and ivory marble. Very basic but neutral colors that really just brighten the bathroom. So they're going to measure that space that the tub and shower area is and custom make the wall, a tub, or a walk-in shower, whatever that they're looking for. The job is completed in a day and get rid of that old colored tile, and in most cases we can go right over top of it. So during that estimate, they're going to check the durability of your current situation. Is it just color and cosmetic, or is there some damage? If then there's damage, we're going to go through, and even as far as removing it down to the studs and putting up new green board if we need to, before we put in our bathroom unit.
So how do you prepare for this? When someone calls you up and says, I think I want to do something about, you know, with my bathroom, what happens after that?
Yeah, give us a call. We're going to have one of our sales consultants come out to the house, kind of talk you through the entire process of what you have now and what you want. And then it's about 2 weeks to make your new bathroom with a 1-day install. So we get there in the morning, kind of talk over what this day is going to look like for you. You could go down, have some coffee, eat your breakfast. By dinner time, you have a brand new bathfitter, walk-in shower, new tub, whatever you chose during your estimate.
You know, you talk about like like a wall, one-piece wall or whatever. Now, say this is the second floor of a house, and you're bringing this in. How difficult is it to get this in or to get the old tub out?
Yes, so we have it down to a science. So with the wall being one piece, we use a heating element that folds it and into kind of like think a taco shell. We carry it through the house, and when we get to your bathroom, we open it up. Now that one piece wall was made specifically for your bathroom, so it's gonna go right into that area. And then the tub, it kind of like skirts up the stairway right into the door. We have it down to a science, Joe. It's really cool.
And I take it that once this is done, everything is all cleaned up. It looks sparkling like brand new, all in the same day?
Yep, on the day of install, we roll out blue mats throughout the customer's home, and we take all the debris with us. So all the customer's left with is their brand new, beautiful bathroom, not a sign that we were there.
So one day, there are a lot of places that may say one day, and then they say, well, now that we get here, maybe it's not going to be one day. But you do it all in a day, like 8-10 hours?
Yes, so being in business for over 40 years, we've come across so many different bathrooms, and we've come up and figured out how to complete these jobs in a day. So usually it's one person on the job, and sometimes it's two, but we can remove that tub and put that walk-in shower or that new tub in one day.
Okay, so you have people watching at home today.
Yeah.
And they say, the wife will say to the husband, honey, I think it's time for a new bath. So do you mediate that whole thing? No, not mediate. But so what's the next step?
Yeah, you can give us a call, and we'll have someone come out and walk through what these next steps look like. I would recommend that only because then we can see what you're working with at home, and then go through that entire design process with you right at your kitchen table. We do have a showroom where if you wanted to see some of those units on display, you can stop in on Broadway Street in Buffalo and take a look at some of the different styles and options. But because it's completely customizable, I recommend just having us come right out to your house. We do offer a design your own bath tool. It's designyourownbath.com. If you want to maybe play with it and make a 3D rendering of what you're looking to have done at home, you can play with that. But best bet to get a price, when you're ready, give us a call. We'll come out for free, no obligations, no pressure. We're not going to stay there and force you to get something you don't want, but just talk you through all of our options that we have.
How quick did you have your bathroom done when you started with Bath Fitter?
So my parents had Bath Fitter when I was growing up, so I did have to, it's an investment I had to save for, but I've had it for probably 7 years now. Best thing I ever did.
Oh, that's fantastic. Rachel, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Bath Fitter by calling 716-242-8995 or go to bathfitterbuffalo.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Bath Fitter of Buffalo. And you can start your weekdays with me, 7 to 9, weekday mornings on the Big WECK. Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. Joining us on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise today is Jonathan McDonell from BAM Acupuncture. Jonathan.
Hey, Joe. Good to be back.
How you doing? Nice to see you.
I'm doing great. You having a good summer?
I am. It's funny because when Jonathan walked in, I went to shake his hand, and I kind of went like this. He goes, "What's wrong with your shoulder?" I thought about it for a second. I go, "It is a little stiff." What do you think? He notices it right off the bat. Buffalo Advanced Medical Acupuncture, we call it BAM Acupuncture, is revolutionizing chronic pain management. That's what we talk about. And, when you're talking about whether it be, neuropathy or whatever it might be, and, you've got some great ideas, some great methods to do this, and we're not necessarily taking a pill and making it go away, right? And, and the pill is just always, most times, is just to mask it, right? Yeah,
mask it, or, sometimes it makes you worse, or sometimes you end up taking pills for your pills for your pills. And that is, that is a big, huge motivating factor for a lot of patients that come into our office, especially like you mentioned, peripheral neuropathy. One of the medications they hand out like candy for neuropathy is gabapentin. Mm-hmm. If you have neuropathy, I'm sure you've probably heard this medication. And that's one where patients start to build a tolerance, so they just increase the dosage, and it gets to a point where you're like a walking zombie, So, your feet still hurt, your nerves are dull, and then you're walking around in a fog all day long. I mean,
Was that not made as a pain medication? Was it made as something else?
actually, yeah. I mean, that is actually intended to be a seizure medication, but they use it for all kinds. I've seen them give it for people with migraines. It's almost like a shot in the dark medicine. Like, you know, we've tried everything else. This seems like it's pain. Maybe it's your nerves that are involved. Let's try this and see if it helps. And that's one that, you know, people that come to see, that causes more problems than it actually fixes.
Yeah, one of the other things we've talked about in previous interviews is fibromyalgia. What exactly is that?
You know, that's another disease that for a long, long time was very poorly understood, probably is fairly poorly understood today. I mean, at least today it's recognized. You know, in the 80s, 90s, like if you had fibromyalgia, it was kind of like, oh, this person's crazy kind of thing. And I think the reason for that is because it is a weird disease. You know, you get this kind of migrating pain, your muscles are really sore, you're fatigued. I have a young girl I'm treating right now for fibromyalgia. She looks perfectly healthy, but she doesn't feel that way. You know, so that's a tough one to really, for people to understand and really feel how these people are living day to day with this condition. But yeah, I mean, we have great results with that. There's a lot, and what we do for that, you know, it's not just acupuncture. The key to treating fibromyalgia and even peripheral neuropathy is we combine a lot of more modern integrative techniques with our more traditional approaches. Again, all natural, no medications, but we're taking the most modern advancements. For example, our ATP resonance therapy. That's a technology that was developed by NASA. You know, they were using that to help for bone density and muscle wasting when people are in weightlessness. You know, so that's something that we use now, and it works for nerve health. You know, it'll work for muscle health or things like that. So that's what makes BAM unique, and that's why we're able to turn the tide for a lot of people who otherwise are kind of hopeless.
Fibromyalgia, is it traditionally happen to males, females, or does it just run across the board?
Definitely that is something you see more in females, for whatever reason that may be. It's, you know, I think a reason for that, you see that a lot in females, at least in my office, what I see is it's childbirth. You know, women will have a baby, they don't give themselves adequate time to recover. Years and years later, they end up paying for that. And a lot of times that's what we can kind of track it back to. But I mean, that's not always the case, but that is kind of the key. You know, I think that's the difference. If you're somebody who you've been told you just have to learn to live with this, you know, there is no solution for you. People come to me and I think it's just a different perspective. You know, I look at everything, the forest, you know, if you will. And we try to put those pieces together like a puzzle, and that's often the difference for people.
You know, it's funny because I wrote down when we were doing an interview once, learn to live with it equals BAM acupuncture, you know, as the solution. As you know, when somebody says to you, learn to live with it, you should question and think, you know, do I really have to learn to live with it? Now, in some instances, I'm sure people will come to you and there's something that, I don't want to say that they're too far gone, but maybe it's gone on for years and decades or whatever the case may be. And then you'll tell them, though, if it's something you don't think you can help them with, right?
You know, sadly with these chronic diseases, people do get kicked around from specialist to specialist, and time takes a toll, and there does come a point with a lot of these conditions where you reach the point of no return. I would say that's more the exception than the rule by the time people get in to see me, but yeah, absolutely. You know, we do preliminary testing on certain conditions and things like that just to screen you. And that's why it is so important for that consultation, to screen you to see if you really are a good candidate for what we do. You know, that's the first thing.
And okay, we've talked about, you know, fibromyalgia and things like this, peripheral neuropathy. But what about things like, we just have a couple of minutes left, but muscular pain, but sleep disturbances. How about something like that? Do you work with that too?
Yeah, I have a patient today that was originally why he started coming in. He was having anxiety sleep disorders. So that is definitely something that we see a lot of. Migraines, we get a lot of patients with chronic head pain that don't have solutions. I don't know if you've seen our commercials run on this air, but there's one with Wendy. She's one of our headache patients. She had a headache for like 2 years, you know, and constant, waking up every day with head pain. And that's something we were able to turn the tide. She's living a happy life now, good mom again. One of the more recent things would be long COVID. You know, that's kind of a weird thing, but we're seeing a lot of that now creeping up.
And people with that brain fog, and they're kind of like, all right, so what's their first step? You know, we've got about 30 seconds left. What should people do?
Yeah, we keep it really easy for you. You know, the first step would be call our office, 632-2207. you're going to speak with one of our patient care coordinators. They're going to set you up with a consultation. You'll come in, we'll sit down. I like to review your history. If you're a good candidate, then I'm going to give you a real clear picture of what it's going to look like from beginning to end and where we can take you and get you back to enjoying a beautiful summer, right? You only get 4 months of it.
That's great. Thank you. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Buffalo Advanced Medical Acupuncture by calling 716-632-2207 or go to bamacupuncture.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Buffalo Advanced Medical Acupuncture. And you can start your day with me weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on the Big WECK. Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big WECK. Joining us on the Big WECK's Buffalo on the Rise today is Chazz from What's in Your Attic. How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, good. You're looking very stylish today.
Why, thank you.
Let's talk about, first off, What's in Your Attic is such a great name for some of the things you do, because I think most of the things that I'm keeping in abeyance or that I'm storing in a garage, in an attic, in a basement.
Yep.
Basements might not be as safe, but you know what I'm saying.
I always joke. I say if we open another one, it should be what's in your basement, then what's in your garage.
Well, there you go.
Get a little chain going.
Yeah, that's right. So what kind of, we're talking collectibles, right?
Yeah.
Is that, how did you get into this? What was your main idea here?
It was Abe that actually brought me into it.
Okay.
He's the one that started it, and it was more in antiques and collectibles, vintage stuff. But over the years, it's changed into more like, I don't know, the pop stuff, culture stuff that's been out, like pop figures and Marvel figures and...
Lunch boxes, right?
Yep.
Remember,
Yep.
I remember Monkeys lunch boxes, Three Stooges lunch boxes, things like that. I remember those things.
We still have some of those.
Are those things worth money now?
Yeah, some of them. It
Yeah?
depends on the year that it was made, what the series was, you know.
What do you think is the most odd collectible you've seen that you can discuss on TV?
Oh, okay. I gotta think of something else. You know, I really don't. Sometimes I've gotten a little weirded out when people brought in something with death.
Oh, yeah, maybe we want to do that. Where do you get most of your merchandise from?
Customers,
Yeah?
we find it out, but I mean, most of the time, we just have customers that are cleaning out their attic.
And they just call you and say, hey, you know, so do you buy these items from them and then sell them? Do you sell them on consignment? How does this work?
Yeah, we buy them outright from them,
Okay.
and then we sell them. But we also have people that rent cabinets, and they fill it with whatever they want, and we sell that for them.
Really? Mm-hmm. Cabinets like display cases?
Right. Yeah, glass door displays.
So do you ever get things like, oh, I don't know, say for instance, during the war, your dad, my dad, whoever was overseas, and they picked up a knife, or they picked up a weapon, or they picked up, maybe the weapon doesn't work anymore, but you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. Do you get things like this too?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and my partner Abe, he was a Marine.
Okay.
So he loves doing, we have one whole section of military stuff that goes all the way back. I mean, whatever you can think of, people brought in, we've got.
What about clothing?
Yeah,
Anything like that too?
yeah. For the military or regular too?
Anything, you know, I'm talking about, you know, things maybe period clothing that people, you know, are looking for. They say, look, we're going to do something, maybe it's Halloween, maybe it's a play, maybe it's whatever, and they say, you know, we need such and such. Do you ever get calls like
Yeah.
that?
Oh yeah, all the time. We do carry some stuff, but a lot of it is, it's older, vintage stuff, or a lot of Buffalo Bills.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I call you up and I say, I'm looking for such and such. Do you have a card file? Do you have a computer? Do you have to go into the attic and start going through things? You know, what do you?
Here's the card file.
Are you serious?
Yep.
And how many items do you think you have?
Thousands.
Really?
Yeah.
And so if you sell an item that you think is popular, do you look for another one right away?
Yeah. I mean, you know, if something seems trendy and picking up, we'll go for it.
What would you say are the biggest selling items?
Video games. Everybody's getting back into video games. I think that kind of started around COVID too, where people were stuck. So they were like digging out their old video game systems, and now it's turned around into a whole business where that's what people want. They want the vintage games. They want the systems.
Like Pac-Man?
Yeah, like anything.
Really?
Yep, the Nintendos, Super Nintendos, the PS2s, the Xboxes, all those things.
How long before something becomes like an antique or is old enough to sell, do you think?
I think the official
Yeah.
thing is like 25 years.
Is it really?
Yeah. So I'm vintage.
Yeah, you and me both. So I guess the thing would be, how often do you get phone calls from people? Every day?
Every day.
You do. And if they ever brought something that you said, I don't know that there's any value in this, or I don't know that I can sell this?
Yeah, a lot. It happens because, you know, people call up, like you said, cleaning out my father's attic. They bring in a couple boxes of stuff. We look through it, go through it with them, and of course there's going to be things that aren't really worth anything.
And that's got to be heartbreaking to tell somebody, I'm sorry, you know, this may have been for your dad's for all those years and you saved this, but it's not worth anything.
That's actually one of the biggest things that bothers me about what we do. I hate looking at someone and saying, I'm sorry, it's just not really worth anything. Because I know to them it is.
And do you get a lot of repeat business?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we have a lot of repeat customers.
No kidding.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty wild. It sounds great. And you're located?
In McKinley Mall.
And are your hours regulated by the mall?
More or less. It's 11 to 7, Monday through Saturday. And then Sundays are 12 to 5, which is pretty much the mall's hours. You know, but being a different business, they're lax with us. Like the bigger stores have doors that go outside.
Yeah.
We don't, so they can stay open a little later.
I got you. All right, Chazz, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. For more information about what's in your attic, you can find them on Facebook. Sponsorship and promotional considerations for the preceding segment was provided by What's in Your Attic. And start your mornings with me weekdays 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big WECK.
Thanks for watching this edition of The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigweck.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chili. Thanks for watching and listening to The Big WECK, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big WECK presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.